going to rest a couple starters here. And down come the Dolphins into the playoffs, Larry. It's week 17. The Dolphins are in it. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, the line doesn't show that happening yet. I've been looking at the line all day. It opened at 5.5. It's 3.5 right now. I haven't seen anything about them resting any players. No fans, which is a good thing. It's going to be 30, 32 degrees, no snow, which is another good thing for the Dolphins. Yeah. I think they need a running attack. I think they can give the Bills a good game if they give Tua the chance to do some play action and to have some time to throw the ball downfield. Last week, he was throwing outside passes, maybe 5-7 yards. Really wasn't getting time to throw downfield. And when Fitzpatrick came in, that's all he did. So it just makes you wonder, what's the deal with the offensive line? They give Fitz more time in the pocket than they did Tua. But I'm glad that Flores made the decision right after the game. He said that Tua was starting. That's out of the way. And like we talked about last week, Fitz is there if you need him. And, man, I'll tell you something. I'll never see another pass the way he threw that last pass. We'll never see that again, man. That was just incredible.
Yeah, and, it feels like I ask you about Tua and Fitzpatrick every time I see you on the show. And to me, you're talking about right now the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL belongs to your Miami Dolphins. That's absolutely incredible. And they need a miracle from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Do you really believe Tua gives them a better chance to win? Because I think it's absolutely insane. If you need to win this game, it's clear to me that Ryan Fitzpatrick should be your quarterback. What do you think on the Tua? Are you still sold on Tua, or do you hope that you see Ryan Fitzpatrick in this game?
I think he'll start Tua, but I don't think he'll wait that long to put Fitz in. I think the cold weather is going to be a factor. It's 30 degrees is really cold, and 10-mile-an-hour winds, that probably puts it at 25 degrees. I think after a couple of outings, if he's not doing well and not moving the ball well, that's what Fitz is there. He's used to playing in the cold. He's played in cold weather. So I still see you got to give Tua the shot. He is the quarterback. But I think a couple outings, if he's not doing well, I think Fitz comes in. And he just had more time in the pocket. He was able to put the ball downfield. And that's when you could use your play action and freeze the defense. And with Tua, they don't have that. They don't have a play action. He's rolling either right or left, and he's not staying in the pocket long enough to throw the ball downfield.
Right.
I actually, Kyle, just to compound off that, I actually like what the Miami Dolphins are doing with Brian Flores, because I think we can both be honest. We're not going to win a Super Bowl, but it's invaluable the experience that Tua is getting in these big games. Even if he can't win the game, you're letting him start in that environment in a true playoff atmosphere. But I do think you might go to Fitz. But also, as we take a look at, Wild Week 17 that's coming up, and you got to have your Twitter feed going left and right at this time, because teams are announcing starters, who's in, who's out, who's not playing, guys going on the COVID list left and right. Larry, when we take a look this week, and specifically with this game with the Buffalo Bills, let's just say, Tua does play the first half, and you're going to be scoreboard watching. Let's just say the Buffalo Bills are saying, hey, let's go out here and play, because even if the Steelers lose, the Buffalo Bills don't have to win their game. They would still be the second seed. So if you're letting Tua play and it gets to the half, there might be one of those scenarios where the Bills play the first half, then rest in the second half and say, man, look at that. Cleveland Browns are up 24-10 over Pittsburgh. They're going to close them out. Let's put everybody on the bench. It's very advantageous, but I do like what they're actually doing here by letting Tua get that playoff atmosphere and certainly starting to go. Now, in the AFC, Larry, go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Yep.
I think he needs it. And, whatever happens, the best thing out of this deal, if they keep going, that's great. If not, we got 2 first-round and 2 second-round picks next round.
Unbelievable.
And, a Dolphin team that might make the playoffs and have maybe anywhere from the 3rd to the 6th pick in the first round from Texas is a good thing. And I think that's just, things are just going to work in the Dolphins' way. But I'm hoping they go out there. I'm hoping the Bills go out there, put their guys out there, and let's have a great game. Let's have a good, solid football game.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, because most fans would say, hey, is it great to make the playoffs? Great, but we'd rather have a high draft pick. The Dolphins get to make the playoffs and get an even better draft pick from Houston. So
it's been a while
win.
since we've seen that.
It's been amazing. I mean, they're going to look at like a top 3 draft pick while they're actually playing for something and heading into the offseason. As we look at the playoff seedings, we know Kansas City clinched in the AFC. A lot still up for grabs in the NFC, particularly at the top. The Green Bay Packers, New Orleans Saints, and Seattle Seahawks. There's a whole, algorithm here, how each one of these teams can probably end up in the top seed. But just looking from a perspective that we haven't seen in the past, no bye weeks, of course, for the second place team, which you usually get. So now you see in the AFC, you're going to leave out a really good football team because the Miami Dolphins here sitting at 10-5, probably a year ahead of schedule. Still, based on NFL terms, if you're 10-5 heading into week 17, you're a really good football team. It looks like the Colts are going to have to be watching the scoreboard more than anybody else. And to me, you just figure all throughout the season, watching the Colts, to me, Larry, that's a playoff team. And they're going to be left at the altar when the Washington football team is going to stumble into the playoffs and probably get bounced by Tampa Bay round 1. Looking at these seedings, amazing stuff here going on, Larry.
You need a supercomputer to figure this
one
out.
Yes, you do.
I mean, it's just a little crazy. The Dolphins threw everybody out of whack in the AFC with the win the other night because everyone was assuming what was going to happen, and that changed. The AFC South is up for grabs. Like you said, whoever loses that game is going to have a great record and might be out. Indianapolis has one of the best defenses in the NFL. So that the AFC is still and still you have the Ravens that are on the outside looking in, and they've been playing great football. So it's going to be a fight to the finish. The NFC, a different story altogether. I mean, if Dallas wins and Washington loses, you're going to have Andy Dalton and the Cowboys winning that division, and I know that doesn't sit well with a lot of people. So yeah. Green Bay, Chicago, I think Chicago's going to go out there and show everyone what kind of a team they are. But it's still up for grabs. Usually by this time we know exactly where everyone's going to be and who's going to play. And we have to wait one more week.
Man, it's going to be a crazy finish. And, I mean, the Bears, look at their strength of victory. That's 333 win percentage. Can you imagine a world, too, where you have the Bears and the Cowboys in the playoffs? Oh, my goodness. But when you look at those top teams, let's assume Green Bay holds on to the top spot and is able to beat Chicago. Who do you see that can actually beat Kansas City in the AFC? And in the NFC, who do you think can go into Lambeau and beat Green Bay, assuming they hold on to that top spot?
In the AFC, I think everyone can agree. And when you see players every week putting their money down, and the Bills probably are the only ones in the AFC that are really going to give KC a run for their money. The Bills, I mean, no one talks about their quarterback being an MVP. He's got some great numbers this year. And I honestly think, the Bills, out of all those teams in the AFC, will give them the big fight. And I'm going to throw my Dolphins in there. We picked off Mahomes 3 times last time. So who knows what could happen there. And the Ravens aren't in yet. But if the Ravens get in, the Ravens right now are probably the best team in football. They've won maybe 4 or 5 in a row. Their defense, their running game is incredible. But, I really see Buffalo as being right up there with Kansas City as the one team that can give them a run for their money. The Steelers need a running game, and they don't have it. And you need a running game to win. Exactly. So I think Buffalo will probably give them a run for their money.
Yeah, actually, even on Sunday, when you take a look at the Steelers, which they really woke up in the second half, getting pounded. The opening drive of the second half was 21-7. Indianapolis goes down, kicks a field goal, and we're all making fun of the Steelers. And they're going to lose, their 5 games in the regular season because they'll probably lose next week to the Browns, and then of course go into the playoffs and lose again. They wake up, but you're right, Larry. They only had 30 yards rushing in that football game. The passing game worked out. In the NFC, as we take a look, Kyle and I have talked about this one team throughout the year, and it looks like it's going off the rails at the wrong time, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. Now with the Cooper Kupp, now being added to the COVID-19 list, you're down 2 of your top 3 running backs, and John Walford is going to get a start to try to get you into the playoffs. So some teams going wrong in those directions for the Green Bay Packers, who let's just say they do beat the Chicago Bears and head into the playoffs as the 1 seed. In the NFC, what's a team that you could possibly look at knocking off the Green Bay Packers up in Lambeau Field, Larry?
Man, no disrespect to the NFC, but I only see Tampa Bay and New Orleans really giving the Packers a run for their money. I mean, if you look at the other teams, I don't see them doing any damage and getting there to the end against Green Bay. Tampa Bay's played well these last couple games. Brady's had some incredible outings, and the Saints, they're going to be there. So, no disrespect, but, whoever wins that NFC East is not going to go very far.
No.
And, I don't really think too much of the other teams. It's what's out there, who's playing good right now. Saints have a great running game. Tampa Bay's playing very well right now. And, man, I'll tell you something. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is the MVP. He's the one running that Green Bay team, and he's gotten them to where they are right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I actually think Green Bay is very overrated. They're just lucky that they play in such a weak conference,
Right.
outside of and they're really lucky that Jared Goff is hurt and things are happening with the Rams. Because if you look at that defense, I think that defense could give Aaron Rodgers a lot of trouble.
In the cold, yeah.
In the cold. But now how are you supposed to, put up any points with John Walford and Malcolm Brown and who else, Van Jefferson at wide receiver if Cooper Kupp's out. But let's shift it. We've talked about the good teams now. We know who's good. Let's talk about the bad teams. And there are some coaches I cannot believe still have their job in the NFL. So the games are all played on Sunday. Who do we think? Who's your money on? I don't know. Maybe WagerWeb has this prop up. Who's the first coach fired on Black Monday? Who do you see? Or maybe even Sunday. Maybe they're fired even before Monday.
I don't think it goes to Monday. I think it happens Sunday night, to be honest.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, as much as I am a Dolphin fan and I don't really care for the Jets that much, Adam Gase cannot be there next year.
No.
There's just no way. He has not proven anything with them, and even when he left the Dolphins, I think that he will be first to go, and I think Varun from the Jaguars, he's not going to be there either. And the thing with the Jaguars is I think they let him go, and that's going to be a great coaching position for a coach to walk into that first pick in the NFL draft. And the offensive coordinator for Kansas City, Bieniemy?
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy. Yep, sure.
I think that he is probably one of the best prospects right now for a head coaching job. He's been passed over a couple of times. I don't know why. And I think he would be great in Jacksonville with that number one pick. Look how he's worked with Mahomes. I think he could do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence if he decides to come out in the draft. But I think the Jets and the Jaguars go first. There's quite a few more after that. But if the Jets keep Gase another year, I don't know. It doesn't.
It can't happen.
It'll happen, man.
It can't happen.
Yeah, the NFC dumped a couple guys already. So when you take a look at the NFC, not really anybody that we're probably looking at that's going to be fired, but you can always look at the AFC. The only other one that will be interesting here, and it's also, when you win when the pressure is off, and that's Anthony Lynn for the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll see if he sticks around at the end of the season, but there are a couple interesting tags here that we like to take a look at in the AFC specifically to get fired on Black Monday. And don't feel bad for those coaches. A lot of them have a 5-year deal. They get fired after 2 years, and they get 15 to 20 million wired into their account later that night. So not really a true Black Monday like most of us working people would be looking at. So don't shed a little bit of tear. Let's get to some Week 17 action because it's a full card. The one thing I like, Larry, is that the NFL does every team a solid, which wasn't in the past. Sometimes they would play a game at 1 o'clock. This team would win. The team at 4 o'clock doesn't have to play. Now they try to match each and every team up. Which games are you looking at? Because obviously we know you're going to like the Miami Dolphins game going against the Buffalo Bills a lot from a fan perspective. But give me a game or two that you're looking at this weekend. Says, you know what, we got some action on this game, but this is a really intriguing game for me to actually watch, sit back, and relax with.
You know what? Believe it or not, there is so much action on the Browns right now. It's crazy. It is crazy. I think the line right now is 9.5 or something like that. I know Big Ben's not playing, and Cleveland needs to win this game. But, I mean, hardly no action on the Steelers at all. Everybody's looking at the Browns, and they get back to all the receivers on Thursday. So it should make a big difference for them. I like that game. And, man, believe it or not, I really like the Packers and the Bears. I think it's a must-win for the Bears. And that's 50-50 down the middle right now. Both sides even. Players are going even on both sides on that game. So that should be a really interesting game. And Washington, Philadelphia. I just need to see and want to see Philly knock off Washington. I mean, Philly, I thought they were going to do a lot better last week. I think their quarterback of the future is Hurts.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job. I think he ran into some issues last week. And I think Philly upsets Washington. I know Alex Smith is coming back. Who knows how healthy he's going to be. And I think they open up the door for the Cowboys to take that division. But a lot of money even on this game also. So players are looking at some of these games going 50-50, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And how about this? I'm just looking. This has got to be the shortest line for the Jets all year, right? They're only 3-point dogs. So I might be a little interested in that, getting some pain. The Jets have been making us some money all year. But I want to talk about Cleveland just a little bit here. This is ridiculous now. 10-point spread on Cleveland. I think Pittsburgh can go in there and beat Cleveland with Mason Rudolph. I don't think they want Cleveland in the playoffs. You look at the Browns' strength of victory, 37%. The Cleveland Browns are frauds. Am I crazy, Larry? Are you going to be mad when I convince everyone to put their money on the Steelers and take that money away from the books?
Let's see what happens. And don't forget, the last time that quarterback started against the Browns, that was that big fight at the end where they hit each other with the helmets.
Got bonked on the
whole
head.
Deal. So there's going to be a little animosity in this game. I think they're going to play it really tough. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think Cleveland covers. But I do think they pull it out at the end. I mean, they got all the receivers back. Pittsburgh has no running game whatsoever.
Yeah.
So,
no, it'll definitely be
got to throw the whole game.
Yeah.
No, it'll be, and we'll see who else sits on the, because we only know Big Ben. If you have T.J. Watt sitting down, Villanueva sitting down, that completely changes the dynamics of this game.
More decisions later on in the week, so we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Line might get bigger.
Absolutely. Line's bigger. Big things going on at WagerWeb, Larry. It's the holiday season. College basketball, NBA's tipped off. The NFL playoffs are coming up. You got the college football playoff this weekend. What good things are happening down at WagerWeb that we can look out for?
Guys, I'll tell you what. We got a holiday promo exclusively for SBR customers. All right, we're having a 20% cash bonus. That includes a weekly rebate on your sports volume. So win or lose, you're going to get 1% back every Monday of the volume from the week before. That's a great deal. It's for SBR customers only. And I'm hoping that, it helps them out a little bit. It's nice to get a little rebate every Monday afternoon from your week before plays. And personally, I want to thank you two guys. I want to wish you guys a happy New Year's. I appreciate you giving us, WagerWeb, a platform on your show. It's really much appreciated. And I want to also wish Happy New Year's to my WagerWeb family. They worked so hard this year. It's been a tough year, starting in March for all of us. Management has been there for us to make sure all our customers were well taken care of. So my hat's off to the WagerWeb family, and Happy New Year's to you guys.
Awesome. Before we let you go, by the way, down at WagerWeb, Kyle, giving back cash back opportunities, WagerWeb doing more than the U.S. government doing for its own citizens?
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I think that's really cool, too. I love that. And we've loved having you on. The People's Champ, everyone's favorite here. So it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's not something I do, but I appreciate the platform for myself and for WagerWeb.
Awesome stuff. Thanks again, Larry, for joining us. Hope your holiday is very merry as well. Busy weekend, but a fun weekend. Have a good day, Larry. Thanks again for joining us today. There we go, Kyle. Once again, as you like to say, the people's champion, Larry, from WagerWeb. Fantastic stuff here. So